Okay, so this explainer is for a very specific kind of person, the founder, the visionary, who feels this deep sense of purpose, but is really struggling to turn that inner feeling into a real, viable business. If that sounds anything like you, you're in exactly the right place. We're about to walk through a framework that's designed to help you stop searching for your destiny and start actually building it.
We're going to start with a statement that might feel a little uncomfortably accurate. If you feel like the world you used to know, the career, the identity, all of it, is kind of falling apart, that's not a bug, it's a summons. Because the most important part of you, your core genius, that is not going anywhere. And this feeling, it can leave you in this strange kind of limbo, right? You're way too awake to go back to the old way of doing things, but you're not quite clear on how to build the new thing yet. Well, this entire framework is designed for you, the person standing in that powerful and, yeah, often frustrating in between space.
So let's actually put a name to this experience. Because what you're going through isn't just a minor career change or some simple pivot. It's a much, much deeper transition, and really understanding it is the first step to moving through it. The best metaphor I've heard for this space is the forge. It's that intense place between an old world that just doesn't fit anymore and the new one that you can feel, but you can't quite grasp yet. It's where the old parts of your professional identity are literally melted down to forge something new, something that's way more true to who you are. Does any of this sound familiar? Maybe your savings are just dwindling while your family goes from saying, I support you to, I'm scared. Or maybe you're incredibly powerful, but your energy is scattered across like 7 different half-baked projects. And oh, that classic moment when someone asks you what you do and you just freeze up and give 3 different answers. If any of that hits home, yeah, you're in the forge.
Okay, so we've defined the problem, we get it. Now let's talk about the solution. This is the whole premise for how you shift from feeling totally stuck to actually building something that's authentic and, sustainable. This brings us to the core concept, the minimally viable genius business, or MVGB for short. Think of it like a startup's MVP, but for your soul's work. This isn't about building a massive empire overnight. Not at all. It's about creating one simple, focused business that's a real expression of your talent and can realistically pay your bills without burning you out. And this right here, this is a critical mindset shift. The goal is no longer to find your purpose. I mean, the fact that the old world doesn't fit anymore is all the proof you need that you already know your purpose. The new goal is to implement your destiny, to make that inner knowing real, grounded, and financially sustainable. So how do you actually do this? Well, the framework gives you a pretty powerful toolkit, using this great metaphor of a map and a sword. You need one tool for clarity, and you need another tool for action. Simple as that.
The process really just breaks down into 2 core steps. First, you map your genius using a process called Appleseed. This creates your compass. Then, you forge your offer using a process called Excalibur, and this becomes your sword, the thing that cuts through all the noise. All right, let's start with the map. The Appleseed process is so foundational because look, before you can build anything, you have to have a crystal clear understanding of your core materials. What are you actually working with? The result of this process is what we call a genius map, and this thing becomes the compass for every single business decision you make from here on out. It's a detailed blueprint of your unique value in the world. Now, I want to be super clear here. This is not another vague personality quiz like a Myers-Briggs or something. This is a high-precision tool. It's designed to articulate, in very specific language, exactly what you do when you are operating at your absolute best, your true zone of genius. The map helps you uncover these incredibly useful insights. You'll define what's called your unique vibrational key. That's the core essence of your work. You'll discover your compound archetype, which reveals the specific role you play for other people. And you'll articulate your prime driver, the fundamental motivation behind everything you do. It gives you a precise language for what you've always felt but couldn't quite name. So, once you have that map and that deep, deep clarity, it's time for part 2. It's time to forge the sword. This is where you translate all that genius into real-world action. I love this because it perfectly sums up the philosophy here. This is not about wishful thinking or just manifesting from the void. It's about getting radically honest about the realities of your life, your money, your energy, your responsibilities, and then building a viable path forward from that place of truth. Now, at the heart of this whole Excalibur process is crafting your bullseye sentence. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful formula for your unique offer. It goes like this. My name is, name, and I, verb, for audience, to get result by using my signature method. It's a simple sentence that forces absolute clarity.
And when you finally nail that sentence, oh man, the feeling is just undeniable. It's this huge wave of relief, and it's immediately followed by this jolt of, oh crap, that's it. That's what I actually do. It's a moment of just profound clarity and self-recognition. So, after you've created your map and you've forged your sword, what's the payoff? Well, the ultimate outcome of all this work is finding and finally committing to your one clear path forward.
Let's be really direct about who this framework is for. It's for people who are tired of scattering their energy and are ready to commit to one primary lane. It's for founders who are willing to do that deep, internal work. It is absolutely not for anyone looking for a 10K in 10 days hack or some simple marketing funnel.
The transformation is really this simple. You enter in limbo, feeling stuck and totally unclear. You leave with one working path forward, a path that honors your genius and can actually sustain you.
Which brings us to the final question, really. If that gap between who you know you are deep down and how you actually make a living feels like it's getting wider every single day, that's not something to ignore. That is your call to action. So are you ready to stop hovering and finally build the bridge to your new world?